What's up, guys? It's Mac. We're back. Today we're taking the old black pearl out. Gonna go out and chase after some walleyes, and I'm gonna show you guys a super unique way to catch walleye, and I might play around with some other stuff after, but we're gonna go out there, chase some walleye, catch some walleye, and show you guys some techniques, some tricks to hopefully catch more fish and bigger fish. Alright, so we made it out to the lake, and like I said, today we're going to do something a little bit special. It's one of my favorite ways to catch walleye, especially in the midsummer, and that is using giant plastics. I use plastics all the way up from like a 10-inch Heroes like this, and these giant paddle tails. And one of my favorites here is the giant streaks, jerk shads, whatever they are. These giant baits like this, these 8-inch baits, are just so killer for walleye up here. And we're gonna go pick apart a few little pieces of structure out here, catch some fish on these baits, and show you guys how much of a hurting they do on the walleye. So the setup I kind of like to use for these giant plastics is basically like similar to like a jig and wrap rod, like a little bit of a stiffer rod. And what I like to do is I usually do a little inline swivel, just a little bit up, usually 20-pound fluoro, and then down to, I like to use like a little bit heavier head just because these plastics are so big and so light in the water that you need something heavy enough to just get them down there. And that's pretty much it. This is a Z-Man J-head in here. I'm gonna start casting this bad boy around. Maybe I'll start out a little bit smaller. I'll start out with that smaller plastic here. This is the 8-inch one. I'll start out with this bad boy first, so I'll just size it up on there, get her in there, and we'll start chucking. Just like so. So the reason these big baits are so effective is because a lot of these walleyes in the midsummer are eating a little bit bigger meals than most anglers kind of think. So a lot of these walleye are feeding on Cisco's, pike, a lot of bigger baits. So that's why it's important to use a little bit bigger profile. So right now, obviously, it's quite calm out here. You can see it's pretty much glass calm, pretty much everywhere you look. So that doesn't give me a lot to go off of for targeting walleye on the humps. So basically, I just need to scan over them and look around. If there is wind, I'd definitely be orientating my approach towards the wind. I usually always focus on fishing the wind. That's usually where I kind of start off. But today, we don't got a starting point, so we're just going to start giving her. So you can see here we're coming up onto this little bit of a hump here. This isn't big structure, but it's just small little rocky outcrops I'm kind of focusing on right now. Right now, with it being so calm, I'm thinking most of those fish are going to be pretty tight to the bottom. So I'm not anticipating on seeing that many up suspended. Marked a few there on the bottom, another one there. Quite spread out. Like I said, that's just because it's calm. They're going to be quite spread out with it being so calm like this. There's a few fish here. We're going to spot lock here and give these fish a go. So, like I said, we're going to get this bad boy down there and see what we can do. Wreak some havoc. You can see here in the water, this bait is just a nice, long, skinny profile. Seems to get the job done. Seems like those fish are kind of straight ahead of the boat, so I'm just going to pitch it out there at them. Let that fall down. You can see here on the live scope it's falling down right there. And right down to the bottom. And what I like to do is I like to just pop this back along the bottom, so give it a twitch. Let it hit the bottom. Twitch. Let it hit the bottom. With that bigger, heavier head, it just helps you get down there quicker and obviously a little bit more control. Like I said, with it being so calm right now, it could be a little tricky in general just for walleye, let alone catch them on bigger baits. There's one. First one hit the bait so far. Just a little walleye crunching the big plastic. Oh, lost him right there. Oh, and I caught an idiot. There we go. But it caught a fish, but we'll get some more. But yeah, like I said, I just like to pop it and kind of work it back along the bottom. Those fish seem to really key in on it. There's one that followed me in. It's right down on the bottom right now. There it is. You see it coming up to me. Two of them actually followed me in. Get aggressive with it. With the bigger bait, I noticed that they seem to like a lot of aggression with the bigger bait. And it's like all of a sudden they just build up the courage and just smack it so hard. So I'm just giving it big pops, letting it hit the bottom. It almost seems like the bigger the pop you give it, the kind of better, because it gets up higher above the rocks, and then these fish can come in and see it from farther away. Okay, I'm gonna keep cruising around and see what I can see. There's a big fish right here I just slid over top of, so it's straight down from us. Drop down on top of it. See if it'll bite. Where did you go? There it is. Smashed it. Smashed the big plastic right in the bottom. Woohoo! So you can see that there. It's not a big walleye by any means necessary. This is like maybe like a 21, 22 incher long lean, but that thing came up and crushed the big plastic. There's another one down there just waiting to be caught. Get this back down there and connect on another one. You can see here in the water, like this bait just looks so good. These big plastics, you just do such big jigs with them, and they just look like a dead Cisco. There's like so many fish that are just like diving around down there at this thing. That one absolutely smoked it. They're all over this thing. Look how darty and aggressive they're getting down there. You can see here, like, look at how fast that fish is moving around for this bait. It's so funny to watch them. Like I said, it's like they eye it up and they just keep darting at it, and then all of a sudden they just build up the courage and they just come and just drill it. You see that one's obviously getting some courage now. They don't like to chase up that much, it seems at times, but obviously, like I said, with it being calm, their attitude can be a little bit different right now. There's a few fish right on top of this one here. Right on top of the crown, I saw a few there. I'm gonna wheel us over to the edge where the wind's hitting the best, and we're gonna sit and cast and jig. Give this a go right here, right on top of this pile of rubble. Let's get this big plastic back down there. Oh man, they're biting it right on the rocks here. I'm having a hard time distinguishing if it's a bite or snag. Okay, I'm gonna try swapping out this big fork tail, and I'm gonna put on, oh God, I just hooked myself. I'm gonna put on one of these a little bit more natural colored paddle tails. Another big plastic, a little bit, I think this is a little bit shorter profile maybe, but again, just a big heavy duty plastic. So we're gonna throw that on this same jig, see what happens. So there we go. Got that big, heavy duty Z-Man jig and heavy duty Z-Man plastic. And we'll try that big paddle tail, see if that's a bit better or worse. This one, at least I can like reel it through the column too for these suspended fish. See if they'll chase it. And if not, that's okay too. Okay, we'll give that a go. Last cast, and then we're heading off to greener pastures. All right, so we pulled up to another hump here. I'm just gonna throw this trolling motor down, get the pole down, and see what we can see over here. I love it. We got a little bit of wind chopping up now. Perfect. Okay, let's see what we can see here. Gonna start sliding onto the hump from, like I said, the most wind-blown side. So as we come up here, let's see what we can see. Probably do this a bit. There we go. Some fish down deeper, right on the edge there, down in 30 feet or so. Ideally, I always like to try to find them as shallow as I possibly can, whether that's 5 feet or 10 feet, 15. Always like to go as shallow as I can. I'm just going to spot lock right up here, and I'm just going to scan around and cast. Sometimes it's hard to mark those fish in the rocks, so you're actually better off almost just spot locking and then just fishing and just seeing what comes up. There's a bunch of fish up here right on top of this reef. I'm going to spot lock us here. You can see here, there's just a pile of them on top of here, from here all the way around. We'll see what exactly they are. They might be something stupid, or they could all be walleye. Come on, baby! There we go. Finally stuck that one. Hit me like 2 or 3 times there before I finally was able to get a hook into it. Oh, goodness gracious, it's a pike. -2. Dude, don't bite me off. Do not bite me off. Not what we're after. There we go. Down hit it. Right species. Crushing walleyes on big plastics. Killer. Oh, I got an idiot again. But getting walleye on the plastics. Boom. I don't even think that hit the bottom. Bada bing, bada bang. Another gorgeous walleye. A big Z-man. Gonna catch a couple more on this, and then I'm gonna change it off to another big plastic. Like I said, the reason that these walleye are definitely feeding on bigger baits is because their main forage up here in Lower Manitoba is a lot of Cisco, so a lot of them are feeding on big baits like this. Lots of times you catch the walleye and they're puking out a big 10, 12-inch Cisco. So don't be afraid to try bigger stuff. All right, we're sliding up on another hump here. This one better be destined for greatness. Oh, there's fish all over the edge there. I'm gonna go back out there to the edge of those fish. Hopefully not get splashed too bad. Boom, boom. Let's give this a go. Right. Yeah, there's a few fish there right in the edge of that structure. Let's give this a go. Get a spun around here. Boom! There's one. Oh, bit me off. My line broke. That one did not feel light, but probably was a pike. All right, so I got bit off there. Well, broke off, whatever. So I'm gonna try putting on one of these big white gladiators here. Big white beasts. I'm gonna try that paddle tail for a few casts and see how it performs. And I might end up going to that super long, straight fluke presentation there. I'm liking this wind. Got a bit of thunderstorm going on in the background here, so hopefully it doesn't cause any issues for us. You can see this bait there sinking down on the live scope at about 40 feet away. And we're gonna start dragging this thing up the drop off here, up the incline. There we go, first cast on the big paddle tail. It's a little bit nicer than the ones we caught so far. That thing came up and crushed the big paddle tail. Chill out, dude. All right, get a load of that. That fish came up and crushed that paddle tail. Got that huge bait here, just sticking rid of its face. What a nice fish. This is probably like a 24, 25 inch fish. Not a giant by any means, but just goes to show big fish eat big baits. And that was our first cast with that big paddle tail. So that's a good sign. Get back down there and get some more. Look at him just chasing it down there. Straight vertical, that one bit it. These fish are fired up now. All it took was a little bit of wind to get these fish just stirred up. Look at them shooting up the drop off there after it. Wow. You can see here, I'm jigging right there on the drop off, and then these fish are just shooting around at it. They're loving that big paddle tail. I take a little cast out here at those ones that are sliding out deeper, see if I can get them to go after it again. Those fish shot to, the fish just shot to this right away as soon as it got down there. That one smoked it. They just hit those big baits so hard, it's so awesome. Feel those walleye come up and just smoke a big bait like that. Just smacking them. Big plastic. Like I said, the bait I'm using here is the diesel minnow, and this is a 7-inch bait. It's a 7-inch bait, but it's a bulky bait too. It's not a slim profile, so it's all of, not gonna go there, but it's a bulky bait, so it's not a small profile by any means. Came in and pounced it. Oh my goodness, that was just a little one, but that thing hit it with some force. This is where the 1 ounce head's nice too, like in the wind like this, right? Because you're able to actually feel the bottom still. Like these big plastics, they're very buoyant and they don't cut the water super nicely with the big paddle tail, right? So having something that pulls you down there a bit harder, a bit faster is definitely nice. Man, did that thing ever feather it. Little gaffer. Like some of these fish that you'll catch on big baits like this are literally, like the bait's literally half their size. Like this one's not that small, but I mean that bait is still pretty close to half the size of that fish. But like I said, up here a lot of these fish are eating ciscos, burbot, walleye themselves, right? And whatever else they can get in their mouth. Bigger presentation is not a bad thing.